Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here at LGT Transport. Today we're going to be showing you how we install our PeopleNet dash cams in our sleeper trucks and day cab units. Alright everybody, so we're going to go over the components for the dash cam kit from PeopleNet. To start off with, we've got what I call the brain box. It's a little onboard computer that interacts with the dash cam. It's also called a DVR. I believe it's a device vehicle recorder is the acronym for that. On the back side you'll have plugins for your power, your antenna, and your signal. And then on the other side, you're going to have a series of lights and symbols here, basically telling you what's operational when it's plugged in. We'll go over instructions on how that's going to light up for you and what you need to see when you plug everything up. The other thing you got is a little flip latch here where you're going to put your SD cards. Basically, every dash cam needs a memory bank. That's where these will go. And if you ever have one go bad or fill up on memory, obviously this is where you'll change it out. Now, the system is supposed to work where it goes up to the cloud, so theoretically you really shouldn't have to touch this, right? But it is there for convenience. So, to go over what's going to plug into the back side of this, we're going to start off with our power cable here. And you can see that it's got a 4-prong plug, but it only uses 3. And you basically, what you're going to end up using is a constant battery, which is indicated by a red wire and a little label, an ignition source, which is a white wire with a little label, and then of course your ground. And then once you have all that hooked up, we'll go over exactly the positions when we get over to the truck. You're going to run this over to the onboard computer and then plug it in, and it just snaps into place just like that. And then of course, just to pull it out, you push down on the tab and it pops out. So that's your power cable, and it also has onboard fuses. If I can get this little deal off, they're usually a pain. And usually it's about a 5 amp inline fuse, but the system that we're going to put in place will actually put in 2 5 amp fuses as well at the connection for our wires going into the fuse panel. Now the other plugs that you're going to have here is also your data cables. Now this is going to plug into your big plug here, and same thing, it just snaps into place. And once it snaps into place, it's secure. And then you just need to push down on this to release it. Now, obviously this is a little short for a data cable. It needs to reach all the way to the dash cam, and that's where our extension cable harness comes in. And you basically need to just, of course, match up the ends of the data cable. You have one male end and one female end. On the plug-in to the DVR, you have a male end, so obviously that'll mate with a female end, and then the male end on the other side of the extension harness will mate with the camera. And that'll bring us to our camera. It is a small little, I'd say, sphere, sort of cube shape, probably more of a sphere, but you have the data cable coming off that, like I said, a female end. And then you have a mount. And how the mount system works is you've got a little clamp style ball mount here with one side that has a threaded piece, and that is going to go into the top here. And sometimes it can be a little bit tricky to get it to go where it needs to go, but once you get it, it's fairly simple. You get it all the way down. The other part of this is a little, I'm going to call it a flange, but you got a flange with 4 bolt holes that you can use self-tappers for if you're trying to put it into something secure like a metal piece. The items we use are in this bag here, and there's a alcohol prep swab. Get it open. You got an alcohol prep swab to clean off the windshield glass, and then a piece of 3M adhesive tape to go on the flange and then mate with the windshield. And then you also have in this kit, which I didn't talk about, are Velcro 3M strips that you're going to use on the bottom side of your DVR to then lock into place wherever you're going to mount this. And the last item on here is how you're going to keep everything in the cloud, which is of course your antenna. This antenna is going to plug in. It's got a purple connector, goes into the purple connector on the DVR. And then once you have that in there, it's going to send the signal of the data feed for the video up to the cloud, where then PeopleNet will house it. And then you have access through your PFM manager. And that is essentially your DVR kit for your PeopleNet dash cam. All right, everybody, welcome to the driver's side of the truck where we're going to start our install of the PeopleNet dash cam. Start off with, we're going to look at our power, ignition, and ground connections. And ground connection, there's a bolt inside the fuse panel here, right underneath the steering column next to the clutch pedal or the brake pedal, depending on what type of transmission you have. But there's a bolt on the mount that you'll see here in just a moment, where you take off the nut, put an eyelet on the ground cable, and then you secure it down with that same nut. The constant power that you're going to need is going to be in fuse position E9. This is just for the Peterbilt 579 that we're working with. Obviously, you will need to double check your connections to make sure that you are using a constant power source versus an ignition. I recommend a test light. Easiest way to do that is you just find a ground, use your test light to find a constant power. Same thing on the ignition side. Now we're going to use fuse position A6 for that, but you will want to make sure that, of course, with the key on, you have power, and with the key off that you don't. Once you have everything like that secured, we're going to move up to the dash cam itself. And as you can see, it's positioned right there below the visor, looking straight out. You want to make sure you get a good position so you got a good view. The only thing you won't be able to do during the install here is verify that position until after activation. Once you have the dash cam mounted, you're going to run that cable over, and we have a Bendix system, so it goes on just the other side of that Bendix camera. And then you secure it with a eyelet or a P-clamp to that top visor dash, and then you'll add in your extension harness through there, and then you're going to run that all the way over to the A column on the driver's side, run that down. You got to take this panel off here, and once you come down here, you're going to come out into this panel here right behind your ignition key. Once you have everything like that ran, you're going to have all your connections that you need right here. The only thing we haven't talked about was the antenna. Now the antenna has a little piece of 3M sticky adhesive tape on the bottom side of it that you're going to use to stick with it face up inside this panel here. Once you have that all done, you're going to hook everything up to the DVR onboard computer, put your Velcro sticky pads on, and then mount that to the side in that ignition panel as well. Once you have all that done, basically you're ready for activation. Now the only thing about activation you got to wait for is the PeopleNet activation. You do have to have an ELD set up through PeopleNet in the truck before you can activate the dash cam. All right, everybody, thanks for watching our latest video on PeopleNet dash cam installs. If you like what you saw, go ahead and hit like, subscribe, and follow for more content every month. Also, check out our other social media platforms, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much.